Hi, Aries Sun and Rising. Welcome to your November 2021 Astro Update. This is Reina, and November is a month where Scorpio is featured every year, and this is no exception. The Sun is in Scorpio as the month begins, and for you, this is the 8th house, and you are the template of the universal chart. Because Aries is when the astrological new year is, and so you start that chart. And the 8th house is an area of transformation. So a new moon here on the 4th at 12 degrees of Scorpio can be like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And what kind of ashes am I suggesting? Well, if I think about things looking at what may be occurring for you, first of all, you have Pluto squaring your sun or your ascendant, and that's from the 10th house of career. So some of you in the past dozen years, at some point or the other, may have experienced a fall from grace. You may have had to humble yourself in one way or the other. And there is a quality within a lot of, forgive me, I shouldn't say a lot. Let's just say some Aries people that can tend towards arrogance. Now, as a fellow fire sign, as a Sagittarian, and of course Leo is a fire sign too, and they really are tagged with that one. I think that we are perceived as arrogant people. And this is because fire energy is very you could say self-absorbed, but you can just say self-oriented, that we are coming from this place of wanting to be an individual. And then on top of that, a confidence, and that is where the arrogance comes in. And as somebody who has not really felt confident in my life, I always noticed how I felt insecure and cocky at the same time. And maybe some of you are laughing right now because maybe not, because Aries, I think, is a little bit extra when it comes to the confidence area or the arrogance area. And it really rubs people the wrong way because it's really about knowing who you are and then just walking around with that sense of knowingness, and other people kind of searching outside of themselves for some kind of identity to glom onto. And so I think part of that is that they envy it, that they feel like you know who you are and they don't. But there may be times when you have overstepped your boundaries and you have to kind of pay the piper, and this may be something from your past, I don't know, in the past decade or so, or dozen years. And Pluto's going to be in Capricorn for a few more years, until at least 2023, but it might retrograde in 2024, who knows. And so obviously your personal chart is going to be different. Some of you are going to have Aquarius in that 10th house as well, and you're going to continue to have Pluto there. So it's not going anywhere, that kind of thing. So the point is that the fall from grace, or if you want to look at it in a positive way, the complete rehab of your status in society, or whatever you want to call it, can be something that is a good thing and is a positive thing. It doesn't have to be a calamity or anything like that. The other thing is that you have Chiron in Aries for the last couple of years, and some of you who are in your 40s, I don't know, I think it's late 40s and 50-ish, may have your natal Chiron in Aries as well. And then this can really, this Chiron return can really be creating tenderness within yourself that can feel very sensitive in a way that is where you feel touchy a lot. So, but even if you don't have this going on, the very fact that you have this situation with the 10th house, the 8th house, means that you are transforming in one way or the other. This can also be if you have developed a recent interest in the occult, and that can include astrology and the tarot, and maybe you're embarking on, or shamanism, something like that, and you're embarking on new healing modalities, either to use for yourself or train to be able to heal others. But I think this is part of a bigger picture. You have a Uranus in Taurus, and that, the Taurus for you is your second house of earned income. And, these transits, sometimes they may indicate what kind of thing you're doing to make a living. And with Uranus, it might be something in the psychic realm or astrology. And also can indicate erratic finances. And again, talking about erratic finances and having Pluto in the 10th house, Aries has that competitive streak and likes to be number one. And Pluto sometimes might present you with some kind of temptation to seize power in a way that is not in the highest, for the highest good within yourself. So, for instance, Pluto rules the underworld and, kind of the criminal element. So anything that is less than above board, and if you took the bait, knowing that it wasn't quite on the up and up, your karma might have been instant, and you had to face getting bitch slapped by the universe, and anyway, but even if it wasn't that dramatic, here's another thing. Pluto can be the healer and the person who is helping others to transform. So in the 10th house, that can become your career. So all of that is happening, and of course is coming on the heels of a full moon in your sign on October 20th. I'm giving that exact date because I'm actually recording this before October 20th. So some of you, maybe a lot of you, will be listening before October 20th. And so anyway, on the 5th, the following day after the new moon in Scorpio, we have Venus going from Sagittarius, 9th house, to Capricorn, 10th. Very good for anything related to trying to get on the good side of people in positions of authority, because that certainly can be what Venus in the 10th house is all about. So if you have been someone who has been trying to get a raise, that's another thing too. Venus can bring money. And so you can talk to your boss or your company in a way that puts you on their good side. So that's one of the possible outcomes of that. And this can make you just popular with the public, Venus in the 10th. And on the same day, Mercury goes into Scorpio. So Mercury goes into that 8th house. This gives you a mind, I think this would be the right saying, a mind like a steel trap. I kind of don't know what that means. I'm thinking, I always thought that meant like somebody who was very good at sussing out the truth, ferreting out the truth. I don't know if I'm correct about that, but that's what this is about. This is the mind of a conspiracy theorist, or as I call it, a conspiracy realist. And it can definitely color. It can make your mind much more. It was funny. I was going to say analytical, which is exactly the opposite of what I really meant. This is a water house. If it is analytical, it's analytical in a way that is very intuitive as well, but really not satisfied with what you hear. Always wanting to dig deeper. This is a great transit for research, doing deep research. And also speaking, learning about occult matters. And learning about secrets. You might find that you're more tight-lipped. Aries is usually a sign that just gives away the company store. I remember it was so funny. My partner came up with this like idea. He created like an ebook, but it was like how to win your sweetheart back, and it was all about if you lose your partner, your somebody that you care for, things that you can do. And one of them, and he said, be happy, like it's be detached, be happy, don't be mean to the person. So you're living your best life, and that is more likely to win over that person to come back to you than being mean and all this stuff. And he was counseling a friend of his who was an Aries and telling him the 4 principles, as he called it. And this guy was having relationship issues, and he told this woman, he goes, okay, I'm going to be detached. I'm going to do, yeah. He was telling them the whole thing, the whole thing. And you're not supposed to do that. He was giving her the whole strategy. You would think that a sign that is ruled by the god of war would know about the art of war, wouldn't you? So anyway, on the 19th, we have that lunar eclipse. 27 degrees of Taurus. Ooh, baby. And that is a lunar eclipse that is at a later degree of Taurus. So I really feel like these eclipses that fall either at early degrees or late degrees really either usher something in and they have a very fresh energy, or they are kind of the remnants of the past, kind of the what we would call the unfinished business and that kind of thing. Now, this is not the last degree itself, so I don't want to make it sound like that, but it is a later degree. And this for you is in that second house of earned income. So this is ushering in that new axis between Taurus and Scorpio. Again, this is another thing that the 8th house is all about. Scorpio's domain is about other people's money. So how this can play out for you, Aries, is that you may find that in the next couple of years or so, that these are issues that will be themes in your life, like your money versus other people's money. And sometimes it can be that you have to be the main provider. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on other factors because of individual charts. You might find that other people's money is something that you either like have to kind of disassociate from, unhook from, that you have to stand on your own 2 feet for one reason or the other. You can't rely on their money, what have you. But this can be like even a breakthrough, I think, financially. This is a very powerful full moon. And if we think of what a full moon represents, it represents the harvest. It represents a time of great fertility and abundance. So an eclipse takes that to the next level. And, some people, I was going to say, I don't know how many Aries people actually do things like this. That kind of Aries people who start their own business, what I was going to say is they might throw in the towel too early, because they just have that tendency to get impatient. And it's like, oh, this isn't working. And being like overly optimistic and impatient for something to take off. And it's not necessarily that you're a quitter. You just lose interest if you don't see something happening right away. But some of you are going to have inner planets in Taurus, and you're much more, especially if you have Mars in Taurus, you can really stick to something. And if you have done this, you may find that you finally are reaping that harvest. So I would see this as a good thing, but certainly triggers to your money sector in the next year and a half or so. An awareness about your finances in a big way. On the 21st, the sun goes into Sagittarius, and this is the 9th house. This is very expansive. This can be a travel period for you for sure. Long, but not just local area or within, in what do they call it, intrastate travel, but more, or interstate travel, but more longer distances, coastal, other countries, and so on and so forth. On the 24th, Mercury goes into Sag, and I think this is an improvement because it's fire energy. It forms a trine to you, and it's very light. There's something kind of macabre about Scorpio, and Scorpios wouldn't have it any other way. But you're in Aries, unless you have the moon in Scorpio or Scorpio rising, and you can be quite interested in that side of life. But in general, you just like the expansive thinking, and you want to be able to share things openly with others, typically. So this may be getting your paperwork together for some kind of, what do you call it? Like your passports, if you're going to travel. If you are an author, you're going to maybe publish and things like that. So it can be like some kind of educational thing that you're studying. Academia is the 9th house. Higher mind. This is the house of religion. So these are kind of the abstract knowledge that may be appealing to you. But, the 8th and 9th houses, I see that similarity between spirituality and organized systems of thought. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that resonated. If you would like a personal reading, the link below can take you to my website. Take care. Bye.